Buddy, it's your boy Down Desert, and we're back at it again with another Marvel Rebels video. Today we're going over a requested lore video of Magneto. So we already got the intro done. Let's go ahead and check out more of Magneto's lore. Trial of Magneto. As he gazed off into the distance towards the line where the ocean met the sky, Magneto's cape fluttered gently in the calm breeze that was drifting across the coast of the sentient island nation of Karakura. His was a life far longer than most people ever had the chance to live, and this was one of the few moments of true peace that he could recall. But he knew from experience it would not last for long. It never did. Something on your mind, old man? A familiar voice asked from above, breaking the silence as Magneto glanced up. There, hovering on the wind like a majestic goddess, was Aurora Monroe, the mutant weather manipulator known as Storm. Funny, isn't it, mused Magneto, that we fought all those years for a better future of humankind, and now we have finally found it, further in the future than any of us ever imagined. Not so long ago, the sovereign nation of Karakai had been swept up in a chrono storm, a time-twisting anomaly that would have ripped the island to bits, if not for Aurora's deft manipulation of its tumultuous currents. Instead of becoming lost in the time stream forever, Karakoa arrived safely on the other side of the Tempest in the year 2099. The future that mutankind had always dreamed of, was finally theirs to claim. And Magneto was never one to let such an auspicious opportunity pass him by. It matters not what century we are in, Storm said. What matters is that our people have a home here on Karakoa, thanks to you, Eric. Magneto cringed as his old friend called him by his human name. True, he had gone by many of them over the decades. Max and sorry, Eisenhart, Eric Lesnar, Magnus, but they were monikers he had merely tolerated in order to better his fit into a world where Homo sapiens still believe themselves in control. Here, in this new era, he could choose a name that spoke to who he truly was. Magneto, the mutant master of magnetism. I may be leading the cause to find our fellow mutants and bring them to this safe harbor, my dear, said Magneto. But the success of this crusade cannot be attributed to one mutant alone. You're damn right it can't, Bob, a grizzled voice snarled from the edge of the jungle that bordered Calcar's shores. Magneto and Storm both turned to see a familiar figure walking out of a newly blossomed Caracoyan gate. The short, hairy figure looked as though he had just been to hell and back, and knowing Wolverine that could very literally be the case. Alongside Wolverine stood a young mutant, just old enough for her powers to begin manifesting. Found the kid who got sucked through the dimensional rift, Wolverine continued. She's lucky I went in there after her. Limbo is no place for a new mutant. I couldn't disagree more, another voice said, this one with a hint of a Russian accent. This new mutant has managed just fine there. Eliana? Can it truly be? Storm rushed over to the young woman who had just stepped through the gateway, instantly wrapping her in an embrace. For years, Eliana Rasputin, the mutant teleporter known as Magic, had been like a daughter to Storm before she was claimed by the darkness of Limbo. Before. Nice to see you, too, Wind Rider, said Magic with an uncomfortable smirk. It's been long, longer than I care to remember. Magneto stepped towards the new arrival, not embracing her, but examining her closely instead. There was something strange about her. It was clear that she had walked a far different path than the Ilyana Rasputin of this world. This child had been hardened by the terrors of war, something to which Magneto himself could mostly relate. You are not the child we once knew, Magneto said, but you are welcome here on Karakoa. All mutants are, regardless of where or when they hail. How about people who grew up thinking they were mutants, only to have their entire world turned upside down when they learned the truth years later? Magneto audibly gasped as the question was asked by another woman who had just arrived at the Cavacoian gateway. His gaze instantly shifted over to her as she walked forward. Her every step stirred ripples across his memory, for he had been there when she had taken her very first one so many years ago. Wanda. Hello, Father, the Scarlet Witch said as she approached Magneto with a calm confidence. Confident few had ever shown in his presence. She reached up and began to slowly remove Magneto's helmet, an action that would almost certainly be met with instant retaliation should anyone else attempt it. But Magneto stood as silent as solid steel, simply basking in the magic of his long-lost daughter's company. His dark expression softened as Wanda leaned in and gave him a gentle kiss on the cheek. How can you be here? Magneto managed to say. He could bend antimanium into any shape with his mutant power, but these simple words were somehow nearly impossible to form. It took a bit of work, Wanda mused. I'm not technically a mutant like you after all, which means Calico wouldn't normally let me through his gates. But a touch of chaos magic did the trick. What I meant to say is, oh, Wanda's playful tone vanished faster than a stage magician's pet rabbit. You're Wanda. She's gone, isn't she? I'm sorry. This must be difficult. Quite the opposite, Magneto said, regaining his composure. To see your face again, to hear your voice, to know that somewhere in the vast multiverse a version of you has thrived, is perhaps the least difficult thing I could ever conceive. It is all that a father ever wants. I wouldn't say I've been thriving exactly, Wanda admitted. I've been holding my own universe together by its threads far, far too long. I truly believe that I was only hope to survive. It was my only hope to survive. Like father, like daughter, chuckled Wolverine. But I've started to see the bigger picture, Wanda continued. We're all fighting our own wars. The only chance we have of winning them and keeping all of our universes intact is if we start fighting together. Speaking of fighting, I'm late for a date with Natasha, Wolverine said. We got ourselves a tin-plated dictator that needs overthrown. Magneto almost chastised Wolverine for entrenching himself in the petty squabbles between the humans of this era. But he paused for a moment and considered his daughter's words. Perhaps she was right. Perhaps her own war to preserve mutant kind. His own war to preserve mutant kind was just one battle of many, all of them equally important. Since Karakora arrived in this future, my allegiance has been to mutant kind alone, said Magneto. I felt it best to isolate our people in order to protect them, but your words inspire me, my dear. It is clear that no mutant is an island. Except Karakora, duh, Magic chimed in playfully. In order to commit to such an allegiance, however, it must be a mutually beneficial one. Magneto continued, there are still mutants out there, lost across space and time, who requires our assistance in order to lead them home. That sounds like the perfect task for a sorcerer supreme, Wanda said. But I'll require your help. As fond as I am of your classic look, I think we're in need of use of a helmet that's a bit more functional. Of course, Magneto said, raising his hand into the air. Within moments, tiny scraps of metal buried beneath the sand of Kawakora's features converged and reshaped themselves into a complex yet familiar device once worn by Charles Xavier himself, Celluro. If I recall, old school Subaru was capable of tracking down mutants anywhere in the world, said Wanda. But a few arcane enhancements should expand the helmet's search area to include adjunct dimensions as well. Like you said, all mutants are welcome here, regardless of from where or when they hail. Wow, said Magic, her eyes burning with anticipation. Try it on already, old man. The moment Magneto put on the helmet, he saw flashes of powerful mutants scattered across the multiverse. A telepathic ninja trapped in a strange world of unholy amusements. A king of the cities preparing to strike at the unsuspecting surface world. A powerful cosmic presence determined to burn the darkness out of the night sky. And thousands more, each yearning to defy the fate and to find their place in an ever-shifting cavalcade of timelines and realities. There is much more work to be done, Magneto said. Far more than I expected. When do we begin? No time better than the present, said Magic. Or the future, I guess, wherever we are. You have given mutants a gift this day, Wanda, Magneto said proudly. Your efforts will not be forgotten. I'm going to hold you to that, Wanda replied. When the time comes, the army that you are about to gather may very well be the one that tips the balance in our favor. Then let this be a call to all mutants across time and space. Magneto continued, the gates of Kalakor are open to them, and the words of a dear old friend, to me, my X-Men. Sickness, I think that was awesome. That was really cool, especially how they ended it. I really hope you guys enjoy. Sorry, my voice is still crackly, still slowly recovering. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned for the next part of his story, The Battle Within. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching.